Several different types of armadillos, and they have that very hard outer shell, so it really protects them from any predators that they may encounter in the wild. But the good thing about Diego is that he has no predators here, being an ambassador animal. So Diego has been diagnosed with a condition called megaesophagus. So normally, when we swallow, the esophagus, which is a tube-like structure in our throat, helps get the food from our mouth all the way down into our stomach. And the problem with Diego is that the muscles that are in his esophagus, that are in that tube-like structure, are not strong enough to get the food down into his stomach. So most of the time after Diego was eating, we noticed that he was bringing food back up. Once we noticed that he was regurgitating his food, we did anesthetize him for initial diagnostics. So we got x-rays and we got blood work. His blood work all looked great. So we ruled out any sort of metabolic, anything wrong with his organs. So then we moved on to x-rays. And the problem with the x-rays is that he has a very strong kind of outer shell that we call scutes on his body, which really kind of prevent us from seeing much of anything internally. So we reached out to some of our friends at a local referral veterinary hospital, and we went over there to give him a CT scan, which really allows us to look at all of the tissue structures in his body. So that allowed us to map out his esophagus and his stomach. We were able to rule out any obstructions, and what we saw was a very wide or dilated esophagus. So basically that food was just sitting in there and it wasn't traveling down to his stomach.
So Diego has to eat in a special way because of his condition, and so all of our other screaming hairy armadillos are fed an insectivore grain, a little hard pellet, like you would feed your dog or cat, but because of Diego, he has to eat soft food. So we feed him an insectivore gel, so it comes to us in powder form and we mix it with hot water like you would make Jell-O at home. And then we hand feed him. So he gets fed 3 times a day, the same amount at each feed, 33 grams. We have to hold him upright in our hand and hand feed each piece by piece. He cannot have food enrichment in his habitat, but we still like to give him the opportunity to have food enrichment, so we just do that at mealtime. And he loves things like baby food, peanut butter, and honey. And then once he's done, then we swaddle him and wrap him in a blanket and hold him upright for 10 minutes, so that helps the food, gravity helps the food go down to his stomach, and none of it comes back up.
We're very, very pleased with how he's doing right now. Once we came to that diagnosis and figured out, a good, adequate way to feed him, we couldn't be happier with his improvement.
And we will have to do this for the rest of his life, but none of us mind. He is so spoiled. We love holding them. He's super cute to watch. We love his yawns. We had to try multiple things in order to find something that worked. Sometimes it can take multiple attempts, but once you find something, then it's all worth it.